Hi, you guys. So, I'm doing a soul rebirth journey for Julian today, and Julian is going to let Spirit decide how we're going to move through this experience. So, I don't know what it's going to look like. We're going to be doing 60 minutes of deep down, distant spiritual healing work and sharing wisdom. So, I'm going to go ahead and relax here and get connected to Julian's spiritual atmosphere. And we're going to just learn about Julian today. So, I'm going to go ahead and just get my energy field in balance here. So automatically, I'm seeing what is like a really distant star. It looks like a diamond. It also looks like light coming from deep down inside, what would be like a diamond shape, and then coming out. The diamond itself looks like it's got a light blue essence to it, and it's really far up in the distance. I'm actually looking up at it. It doesn't look like your average star, like it's night sky. You see a star in the sky, it looks really far away. This actually is a decent sized thing. So I can see it visibly with my eye down here on Earth. And it's sort of like you could even imagine as like a window, on like a sideways window. But there's light that seems to be coming from deep down inside of it and coming outward towards me. But it also just looks kind of like a bluish colored diamond out there, diamond shape. I really want to ascend. I want to climb the staircase. I want to reach that place. And I feel like I'm reaching that place out there, which is also a place within inside myself. So if I experience myself basically ascending in the outer world, now I'm reaching that which I long to experience. It's deep down inside myself. It feels like I'm reaching it out here through a goal of some kind, but I'm actually just bringing it more to the surface within me so I can feel connected to it. This is actually a pretty positive, cool message right now, Julian, because we're looking at it's really peaceful and tranquil. It's not rushed or pushy. It's got kind of a wise element to it, and we're taking in that which like a deep-hearted goal, and it feels like I'm at ease or I'm patient with the process, and the goal I'm longing to attain is something that's vibrant and beautiful, extraordinary. It's sort of in the stars, but it's 100% a mirror of who you are. So, what you're working towards as a human being is actually yourself. And yourself happens to be very beautiful and very worth attaining. So, it's all a really super positive message. And this peaceful, tranquil energy is extremely noticeable. So, that too, as part of the message, is really relaxed and patient. And it's like I don't want to let go of it. Like, I want to just stay here in this experience. And if this is all we ever know, then that is quite an extraordinary thing to discover. So I talk to the universe, which is the spirit realm. I talk to the infinite, and I say, so what is it that Julian needs to work on right now? Instantly, I discover that I'm not standing on anything at all. I already was sort of in outer space and still climbing a staircase, an invisible staircase to this star. I felt like I was on Earth, but Earth was a shadow. But it's all disintegrated, and I realized that I've been out in outer space this whole time. It comes as a surprise to me because I didn't think that I was this far along on my journey already. I felt, I guess, that I just discovered it. But all along, over the last years of my life, I've already been working my way up that staircase, and it's like you're halfway there, is kind of what this looks like. And when I choose to turn around and look back at how far I've come, I am just a little bit astonished because I didn't think a 3-year-old was actually a part of the 3-year-old instinctive decision making was somehow intertwined with my adult life patterns. But your whole life, even the birth experience, was you climbing the staircase to get to this inevitable destiny, which is to become yourself, to attain being yourself. And all the faces that you have been over the course of your life, because you don't look like a 3-year-old anymore, and you don't look like you're 15 anymore. Like, you're moving across the ladder of change, and every choice you've ever made in your whole life is actually helping you to get to this place. It's strange because it's intermixed with what is the feeling of, it just came to me recently, this motivation or this goal or this thing that I want to attain. It just seemed to come to me recently, so I feel like I've only just started. Although you've been actually making your way to this point your whole life, and you're actually quite far, and it's sort of like you're halfway there. But the more I talk about this, the more the timeline extends, and we start to see that you were on this journey lifetimes ago, and lifetimes ago when you weren't even who you are today, and you would never perceive it, all these lifetimes and all of these stages of your soul journey, and now being a baby in this lifetime and moving your way up till now is actually everything, the domino effect, to reach this point where your soul always longed to be, at a place where it could long to be completely and utterly itself. And it still feels like you're in the process of attaining that in this image here, but obviously you already are it, because you're just attaining yourself. So what more can you discover about who you are that will more so bring this closer to you, or just like sort of put a ruffle in the carpet and just reel you right on up to that point? It's really cool too, because I think every human being longs to just get to that place. I just want to feel ascended already, or I just want to be retired, or I just want to have the one in my life. Like, we just want to get to that place, and once we get to that place, then nothing else matters, and there's nothing else we need to work on, there's nothing else we need to do. And so, oddly enough, as wonderful as this is, you're on a journey to attaining yourself. So once you reach yourself, what else could you possibly work on now? That's the illusion, because you'll always be working on yourself for the rest of your life. So it's an illusion. There's actually no such thing as having a place that you could be complete, because your soul will always find other places, other nooks and crannies to continue to expand. So in a way, you could just say, you know what? I already am complete right now. I already am. I've already attained being myself. And that's all. I don't have to I can just say that I am there right now. So right now I've attained being myself. And know that the rest of your life you're going to be discovering who that person is. So why do you have to get to that place to attain being yourself? You actually already are yourself. You've already attained it. So now we need to work on discovering, who is this person? And let go of all of those stairs that you have to take in order to reach that special place. It doesn't matter. You already are all of that. So now it is developing and expanding and allowing what you long for, what you want to experience, to be attracted into your world. You don't actually have to work getting there. You just work on discovering yourself, and now you start attracting whatever it is your dreams are into your life. It's interesting because it appears that the dream is to attain yourself. Self-discovery dreams, ascension-related dreams. But the thing is, it's like, once you realize you already are everything that you ever needed, now we can start finding out more about who we are in the process of living our lives for ourselves. How can you live your life for yourself if you haven't quite discovered yourself? So we start by saying, I've already attained the goal of finding myself. And now I'm going to continue to discover who I am by exploring the things that make me feel the happiest inside. and I'm going to discover myself through these exciting things. And then I want to attract more of that because I want to see all of these beautiful things inside myself. There's nothing about this is about negativity. It's like I want to explore being an alcoholic so I can learn more about that type of pathway in my life. Like how many people are like, I want to explore this, like really joyfully say that. Usually they're just sort of like, oh, fuck it, I'm just gonna get drunk today. Like that's actually them heroically and with a round of applause saying, this is who I am today. But now, who are you today? Because yours is not like the I want the pain and suffering, want to wring my neck type of self-discovery learning. It feels like for you, we're transitioning into peace of mind, something more patient, something more kind to yourself, self-loving, something more nurturing and warmer. And it's kind of got that Zen vibe of going and getting the massage today because you're wonderful. Whereas yesteryear, it might have been something a little more superficial or a little more self-damaging or something in order to have fun or something. Like, I don't know what it would have been, but it feels like you're transforming into something that's more on the positive, self-nurturing side. Okay, so I'm talking about these things, and now we wait for the echo to come back and say, yes, I really do feel that way, or say, wait, why are you talking all lovey-dovey to me? I'm an angry person inside, so I'm waiting for the reaction to take place here and see how it harmonizes with what I'm saying. And this is all your spiritual atmosphere here. Okay, what is this? We're walking down a corridor and there's a lot of grumpier energy here. So I say positive things about the truth about you, and now we start to experience structural patterns that identify you as not being warm and fuzzy and cozy, as being angrier than that. And so we welcome those energies or frequencies to talk as they are, to speak for themselves, and then we help to neutralize that type of anger, right? Internal anger, it's ego, it's other junk that's not really who you truly are, because you're truly an immaculate higher self-expression. You're not piece of trash like a lot of human beings feel like they are, you know. All right. So I'm walking down a hallway and it almost feels like a maze, and it feels like an office building. So I walk down the hallway to the end and then I turn and it's almost like I'm looking at a crazy maze. Like you could see a maze on a piece of paper and you got to figure it out, and it's not an easy maze. It's actually complicated. So you might have to start at the finish and then work your way back, or you can try and find your way. Like you might want to use a pencil, because if you make a mistake you can erase it, so you don't have all these like pen lines in here getting you lost and confused. So this is a complicated maze, and so we're just sort of stepping into what looks like a complicated cubicle world, with lots of different lined like places you could walk and then walk yourself into a wall and having to retrace your steps. But really, what really is in the center of all this? What does your finish actually look like? Because oddly enough, this maze, the finish is in the center. It's not on the other side of all this. It's in the center for some reason. And in the center, it kind of makes you think of Pac-Man in a way, because we've got to find our way to the center home. But in Pac-Man, you have all these like bad guys here in the center, and then they come out of the center, and then you're trying to eat all these dots or whatever. So I don't know what it is, but it's reminding me of Pac-Man, and it gives me a little bit more stress. Makes me feel a little bit more stressed. But I do long to get to the center of this. It's sort of like, well, my heart is in the center. To get to the bottom of something, also, you could say it like, I want to get to the center of this. Also, like saying, I want to get to the bottom of this, to the heart of it all. But it just feels a little bit more stressful than I want it to be, and it kind of reminds me of a maze. And I'm actually walking myself through this maze, and I feel like I'm going blindly through it. I don't even know where to begin. There's so many helpers here that really want to push you along, gently, not just like, they want to, they've got a lot of ideas, and they have a lot of encouragement, and it feels like, you know how life sometimes it feels like you can't hear higher direction. You can't get any other inspiration, and you can feel lost along the way, and you just need your spirit guides to just talk to you, or you need a spirit interaction. Well, in this scenario, they're actually getting messages through to you, because they're like, well, this is how you do it. This is how you do it over here, over here. We're just going to let go of the feeling as though that there are walls blocking you from where you want to be. They're like they've got a lot of positive encouragement. They're really loud. They almost feel like they're doing the work for you. They're paving the way and making it super easy, but yet for some reason, this higher guidance is telling you all these things, but you're just sort of standing outside of a wall that they're actually evaporating for you, but you're like holding on to this being way too complicated. You're holding on to this. It needs to be more complicated. It needs to be tougher than this. It needs to be, I need to have a lot more blocks in the way of my ascension into freedom. And so you're kind of holding on to the complicating things as a human being, when really you need to let that go and then allow spirit to just do the work for you. How many times do you get to hear that message? Your spirit guides, your like higher conscious helpers are like they're like really wanting to push you along, move you along, like they're like kind of like, hurry up already. We're just gonna make this easy for you, so we're just gonna evaporate all these walls, so all you have to do is walk straight ahead and into the center of it all. But you're just sort of like, no, I need it to take a long time. I need it to be hard and confusing. I need it to be a complicated maze. And I need to just do this. I need to make it harder than it really is. I need that for myself. So the question is, why? Why does it have to be complicated? Why are you not letting go of needing it to be complicated? You really are resisting. I mean, you are seem to notice there's higher guidance filtering in, but your translation of it is like, no, I'm not understanding it right, because it's supposed to be more complicated than this, and they're insisting that it's easy. But I'm clearly not translating this right. Like, you keep denying what the actual message is. And you get it. They say that you hear them loud and clear. You know actually what their message is. But then for some reason, your human mind takes over the message and rewrites it. So you get the message in your heart, just follow your heart. And you're like, okay, that's not it, because I need it to actually have like 5 directions. So step 1, you need to find this place, and then when you go into this place, you need to look for this thing, and then when you find this thing, you're going to work with this thing for 30 days, and after you work with this thing for 30 days, then you're going to find this thing, and then what, and now you have like a giant sheet of everything that you're going to accomplish over the next like 6 months in order to attain ascension, and all they said was just follow your heart. There's actually nothing else you have to do. There's 0. You don't actually have to go to that place and go get that thing and work with it for 30 days. That's actually your mind creating a lot more effort than you actually need. So stop doing that. The only thing we're asking you to do is follow your heart. Oh gosh, you got like a crazy ego reaction. Ego's mad because if you follow your heart, you're actually going to attain some sort of enlightenment experience like this, And ego is trying to delay it. Ego is trying to say, you're not ready for that yet. You still need more work to do. It's creating distractions. It's creating distractions everywhere for you. You actually are on the verge of some sort of like enlightenment experience, which is simply you discovering that you've already attained being yourself. And now you just let your heart guide you through the next thing. And it's not about trying to solve, trying to figure it out, trying to plan, trying to prepare, trying to do anything else. So it feels like your enlightened experience is going to be something really simple, but yet so freaking powerful because you seep into that reality. It's not like me saying, all you have to do is follow your heart. And you're like, yeah, I know that. It's like you actually stepping into the frequency of that reality of what that is, what that feels like, how to live in that way of being, and it just suddenly makes sense. A million things that go along with just follow your heart suddenly get absorbed into you, and it just all makes sense, just like that. And I'm telling you, it feels like you're on the verge of a cool enlightenment experience. And it could be as simple as this, but it's full of like a million light codes, you could define it as. And suddenly you're so filled with these codes of light and wisdom and ascension that like you merge with it. You merge with a phenomenon that is a simple statement, but it is like changes your whole lifestyle. You change your whole way of being, your whole balance with you. And ego is like, no, you're gonna have to do this and 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 this. And so you're kind of gauging still with the old way of the logical way, the textbook way. You got to start with chapter 1. You can't start with chapter 10. You got to live by this pattern. But you're actually transcending into a heart-centered reality. So it doesn't really make sense for you to continue to work with your mind and ego. It's actually distracting you. And they're telling me we're in a hurry, because you have like it seems like a destiny or a fate sort of experience. So they're going to be constantly like encouraging you with very simple messages within your heart. So they need you to know this, so that way you don't start twisting up what is a simple message and complicating it. Because this isn't a complicated maze. You're just saying that you need it to be a complicated maze because it's always felt like it had to be, because life just needed to complicate things. I mean, if you just look at the law, that literally in the United States, you look at the law and it's not just like 12 items. It's like 12 trillion little loops and ladders and hooks and nooks and crannies and freaking thousands and thousands of law books. How is anybody going to be able to traverse that thing? That right there is the mind and ego's maze of complicating what is simply Jesus's golden rule. And if we could just live by that golden rule, we don't need the law at all anymore. And that's the difference between you just choosing to follow your heart, which is ridiculously simple, or you needing to have 12 trillion rules in the judicial books to define how you're supposed to get from point A to point B. And you just go straight down the street and it's just right there on your left. You're like, no, I've got to actually go back this way and I have to take a right here, and then there's going to be a traffic jam, and then I actually have to get on the plane, and then I need to fly to another country, and I need to live there for 10 years, and then I need to do this and that, and then I need to join this, and then and then all it does is get you right back to where you started, where you just actually somehow figure out that all you had to do is go down the street. But for some reason you feel like you need all of this stuff when you really don't. But it's your choice. You actually can choose to have all that stuff, and that then becomes your life experience, which is wonderful too. But they're really saying that you're really close to attaining everything you have been really questing for. And it's like a super simple message that simply you discover that you are yourself, but it's actually on a powerful level. It's not like, oh, so I am myself. That's really boring. But when you discover you are yourself with a million light codes of wisdom that help you become and feel and heartbeat and rhythm with and life, like everything that you are is in balance with this phenomenon. And you just feel the harmony. You just experience the harmony, and there's no more going to whatever that version of you was before, because you feel reborn. You feel totally reborn. You long to let go of the staircase, and you're still walking on the staircase. I see you as a woman with extremely blonde hair, and it's glowing yellow hair, and it's pulled back, and then it's super long, goes down to her butt, and she has a tie in between. So there's like 8 ties or something going on. So she has these little bunches of hair in between each of the ties, and I just see her from behind, and her hair is glowing yellow. And I see a bit of the staircase fall off between where she is standing and this sort of place she wants to be. Ego tells her she's gonna fall, she's gonna hurt herself, she's gonna go back into oblivion. She's actually gonna go back in time, and she's gonna go repeat a time loop, and she's gonna have to revisit all this other stuff, and she's not actually ever gonna make it to this point. So ego is trying to trip you, is trying to trick you, is not being honest with you, because ego is the one that is afraid of your enlightenment experience. Ego already seems to know that this is part of your future, and it feels like you're gonna have something of this nature, and it's not gonna be like, it's gonna be so easy. It's gonna be like a new body steps into your body, and it was so easy, and it's just like you take a breath for the first time. It feels like you're breathing for the first time, and the world just takes on a new hue of color. And it's as easy as that, but we don't really know why that happened or how that happened, but it was so powerful. I feel totally changed. I feel like a totally new person. I feel like I know who I am for the first time in my life. Ego is ridiculously afraid, because you're not going to need ego if you become that. And ego struggles with that reality. Ego wants to be needed. Ego wants to be obsessive, judgmental, harsh, afraid. Ego wants to be all these things. Oh man, there's a little bit of an energy shift going on here in the mental body. It's a little delirious. I feel like falling to my knees and holding my head, and just the tears streaming down. I feel tired of being trapped in a dark room. I long for the floorboards to just fly away, and that the floor would open up entirely, and that I could just leave this room. Even if I have to descend, I'm actually ascending, because I can finally find my freedom from this room, which is a cube, a black cube, but there's floorboards. But the odd thing is, you also don't want to let go of this structure, because it's a cube, it's familiar, it's been there your whole life, and it's actually, you long for it in your heart, but you resist it at the same time, and you would just create excuses without realizing that you're actually resisting something that is ascension based, and it's going to manifest a powerful, life-changing experience for you. But that's what I'm doing today. That's what I'm doing, is helping to alleviate these frequencies. They're sort of self-sabotaging frequencies that you might not even realize you're doing it, and it's because it's going to feel so natural. You might think it was even a psychic experience, when it was really just your ego in the way of something very simple, trying to manifest a resistance from transforming overnight. And so here the floorboards could go away, but every time that you say it from the heart, I will allow these floorboards to leave, just so I could even descend in order to ascend. You hang on to the floorboards. When the floorboards start to disappear, you're like, but just a cube. But I've only ever known the cube, and maybe descending before ascending, that actually might be a bad idea. Maybe that's not what I'm asking for. I need to be more careful with how I'm choosing my affirmations. Because the thing is before you were actually speaking from the heart without fear. And it seemed like to be like a muddled mess, but it was from your heart, which is sincerity, honesty, confidence, and you just allow the experience to happen without fear, no matter what that is. And so somehow you manifested a moment of fear, which then holds on to everything, and now it's easier to hold on than ever before, and you just really don't want to go back to that freedom of self-expression because we're afraid of what is on the other side of it, because now you have to walk in those shoes instead of just longing to be that as an ascended human being. um, a lot of people like, I want to have that experience, I want to have that experience, but they're terrified to actually walk in those shoes because now they have to be themselves in a way that they've never been before. Now they have to start walking the talk. They have to start like finding their ascension job, like, what did I come here to do exactly? I know part of it is to find myself, and in the process of finding myself, I discover the value of love. And now in discovering the value of love, I want to share a message of love with the world to help other human beings to get to this point where I also am, because it's so worth all of our whiles to be here. And so, like, I swear, everybody has an ascension job. But I mean, this is a timeline, and we just be patient, because it's not going to just immediately appear to everybody that their role is not to, type some junk up on a computer and do these reports every day, and they hate their job every day. That's not your ascension job. That's you still living in fear of being yourself. And so you just work by somebody else's dream because they give you a weekly salary, whatever it is. I see you as what is a master samurai, standing with honor and self-respect and accomplishment, because you've worked hard to attain this title. And physical, it's taken quite a lot of physical training, mental and emotional training, spiritual training. I mean, it's taken training on so many levels that were absolutely, they were breaking you down hardcore. And you're crying, you're struggling, you're suffering, you're trying to conquer it, you feel like breaking down, but you manifest the samurai master. It always was inside yourself. It feels like you're moving towards becoming that, but you're actually just breaking down all the layers of fear, and the structure, in order to step into who you truly are deep down inside. And who you are truly deep down inside is a samurai master. And he stands with honor and respect, and he doesn't speak out of like an obsession to just say something and receive some sort of, you know, like needing other people to hear him talk, or needing approval from other people, or needing something. So he only speaks when speaking is wise. He could even go a month without saying a single word, because it is much wiser to not say anything at all at this time. He is so in balance with what is the frequency of wisdom in his place within his heart and his sort of soul journey. He is so balanced and has such inner strength, not just outer strength, but inner strength, and reverence, gratitude, honor, self-respect, respect for creation, respect for his role, respect for, I mean, everything. You don't just earn that title just, because I got my master's degree. You actually train your whole life, from 5 years on, 5 years old on up. Like, you could train your whole life, and only receive that title once you're like proven yourself. I mean, and we're talking so many things that you conquer about yourself in order to attain that symbol. Because the samurai master is a symbol too. A symbol of an identity that you actually do possess within you. And that identity is now integrating as an energy gift I feel it sort of filling in your heart, and sort of it's a light blue color and it looks like electricity, glowing electricity, and it's sort of glowing outward, front, sides, back, but it's filling your spiritual atmosphere. And we are returning now to this cubicle maze. He knows who he is. This has got a crazy block on it, this throat. Gosh, it has a shield, actually. It's like a shield on here, and then you have a bird face. But I also feel like there's some sort of shield on the third eye too. But when you actually choose to become that which you are, you will feel weird. You will notice things that you need to let more areas to let go. I mean, you could work on letting go a million times from your throat, and you'll still find something else comes to the surface that you can let go of. But in the process, you feel so much freaking lighter and ascended, and you don't feel like you're working on earthbound stuff anymore. You just feel like you're fine-tuning your soul. But you can fine-tune your soul a million times, and then fine-tune a million times more. But this introduction to the samurai energy in your spiritual atmosphere is suddenly, you feel awkward, you feel like you aren't yourself, you feel like your face turned into an angry bird face. But you have like a weird elongated neck, and that this has a black like shield on it, and this also has a black shield on it, and you just feel really weird. But you're ready to use this samurai master superpower to just not actually to find a pathway through the maze, but to look at the wall as not blocking you, and that there's nothing blocking your pathway forward. And if your finish is in the center of your universe, then you move towards that experience of your identity. Your ego hates this, but you are latched onto the samurai master energy. And so even though everything just seems to get weird and topsy-turvy, backward, I don't look like myself, I look very weird, I feel weird, I feel strange, you're still saying it's more important to just continue on this pathway, identifying myself as a samurai master, than it is for me to just, fit in with the rest of the humans and then take the long way around and give my ego all the power to extend and complicate my life path. It's better to be awkward and goofy about it while following your heart than to try and fit in and look all suave about it. It's going to take a lot longer and be way more frustrating and complicated. You'll grow faster. I don't know why, but they're like really... this doesn't often happen because they're like, the spirit realm is usually applauding patience, but they're really pushing you to listen, and not to complicate their messages. And you're on the verge of expansion, and an enlightenment experience, and I swear to God, it's going to be so simple, but it's going to change your whole life because you haven't attuned to that frequency yet. And the frequency of is like a simple thing, like, oh, so I am myself now. And then bam, suddenly you're a million reflections of light in a way you've never experienced being yourself ever before. And the whole world looks different. It feels different. It tastes different. It's different. Samurai Master is both with you as a spirit, but he's also within you. You're still trying to get through the first wall, but you're focusing with all of your attention on trusting in this movement. Even if it doesn't make sense, everybody else would insist you need to walk down the pathway through the maze to solve the problems, to conquer your own mind, when it was actually an illusion all along. You would be better off just learning how to dissolve the walls or walk through walls than doing it like everybody else. It would be better for you. You're still learning on how to dissolve this wall or walk through it, but you're focusing on it. And the Samurai Master is very proud of you. I experience your heart beating, but it beats like a little bit faster than would be balanced, and you're starting to sweat. You're really hard on yourself. You're complaining to yourself. You can't get this stupid block out of your throat, third eye. You're being really hard on yourself. It feels like you're trying to swallow an egg, but it won't go away. It never swallows. It's sort of like an energy thing, a very imbalanced energy in the throat. He tells me I'm not a magician, but he says that as a wise thing to say. He's not just gonna make this go away. He's not gonna just make that throat ailment disappear, because the training is what conquers it on its own. And so he's just watching this happen, and he's not gonna take it away from you. He actually could, but because he's so freaking advanced. But he insists my role is samurai master, my role is not magician. Even though he is quite magical. He tells me to stop talking about it. He's a samurai master. This gets more and more frustrating. It's getting aggravating. You're starting to develop a windstorm. You're actually transforming into what is like a hurricane. And I start to see wind beating into the wall in front of you really harshly. It wants to break the wall down with force. It starts to circulate, and you sort of levitate above the walls like a hurricane cloud, and you start spinning, and the wind picks up. You are starting to turn into lightning bolts, and you want to strike all the walls down. Samurai Master is watching you. You haven't yet effectively dissolved a wall or walked through a wall yet. This is what you're working with as your solution right now. As the hurricane, though, you can actually see the center of the maze. So it is empowering and it's inspiring. You realize you're a lot closer than you thought. Samurai Master says, what if the only way to do this is the hard way? Which is the one way you can't seem to figure it out. You can dissolve the wall. But yet you're just getting angry and frustrated. You just need to focus on learning how to do this one thing. You don't want to be you want to be a mighty hurricane cloud. You don't want to go back and stand by a wall and look at it and try and figure out how to dissolve it. That's not something you do. That's impossible. I could become a hurricane cloud. I can break down these walls in other ways. He says, but it's not your purpose. Your role is to dissolve walls, not create hurricanes to break them down. You know how to be a hurricane, you don't know how to dissolve walls. Something about you know how to circulate with anger as a powerful tool, but you haven't figured out how to do something impossible like dissolve a wall or walk through a wall. I don't think a lot of human beings know how to walk through walls, I say. So the fact that Samurai Master is giving you a task of this kind is quite special. We need to trust in his guidance, even if it is that you can walk through walls. We have to trust in his guidance. You say, okay, then I can walk through walls. You say that's all you had to do. You never once said that. And all the times he told you could walk through a wall, you never once said, I can walk through a wall. You just took the task and said, okay, here's a wall here. Okay, I'm going to visualizing it disappearing. I'm going to visualize it. I'm going to try and walk through. I'm going to do all these things. But you never once said, I can walk through a wall. It already was impossible to begin with. That was the problem. All you have to do is simply admit to yourself that you are this great. I don't think, Julian, you've ever admitted to yourself how great you are. how amazing your soul is, how truly phenomenal your soul is. This message right here tells me that you would be worthy of a task, an extraordinary, unbelievable task of this kind, but yet on the other side, you would always deem it as impossible. Nobody else could do this, so why could I do this? And nobody else can. Because you never gave yourself the credit as being that amazing that you could do it where nobody else can. Again, another positive complimentary message of you as to how, what caliber you're coming to this earth with. And you need to start seeing that as who you truly are. Is your ego going to tell you that? Or is your ego going to say you need to work a way harder and way longer to ever attain a status of being even worthy of being kind of awesome? That's ego, putting us down all the time. Time to start seeing yourself for who you are in the mirror. Anger is brewing. It's okay, Samurai Master is watching you turn into popping bubbles like a liquid man that is boiling. It's like we give you a compliment about how awesome you are, and that makes you mad because you don't want to be that awesome. Being that awesome now comes with responsibility of knowing how to walk through walls when nobody else does. And that's just not who I want to be. I want something simpler or easier than this. Samurai Master says, I guess you aren't a Samurai Master. He waits for you to respond. You stab yourself with a lot of knives, going into a fit of self-realization, and you're trying to resist your greatness. You're going to just stab yourself in order to keep you at a certain level. So you have to stab yourself to bring you down because you're ascending. So you're ascending into too high of a frequency. So in order to tolerate that, ego then starts to try to break you down in other ways so that the ascension doesn't feel like you're ascending. It feels like you're still where you are. So you have to be harder and harder and harder and harder on yourself instead of just allowing yourself to grow with love. Just grow with love. Stop resisting it. Just grow with love. I feel like this conversation has set you back like miles because the deeper part of your consciousness really does not want to admit how truly wonderful and special and extraordinary your soul is. So as like punishment for deeming yourself to be so extraordinary and special, now you have to go sit in the corner 10 miles behind everything, and then we're going to beat you down in the process of even trying to get to this point again. That's ego. Fearing the reality of you that is so immaculate and beautiful and wonderful. The Samurai Master never leaves you. He's training you to be yourself. And he knows what types of breakdowns that you will endure in the process. It will break you down emotionally and mentally, physically, everything if you let it. Or he can already just proclaim the truth about you. I'm in a really dense space here. It's almost just wants to put me into a sleep state. It's very dense. So I'm clearing out really, really dense energies that are weighing you down. You don't need this junk. It's going to make you feel a lot lighter on your feet, a lot lighter on your hips and your shoulders, your spine, all your organs, your heart, emotional body, mental body, all that just stuff. All that you are is going to feel a lot lighter. Still letting go. And the very exhausting energy, trying to like run 100 miles a minute in like a crazy windstorm that is blowing you backward. But you're not going to give up. It's like, gosh, this is really pushing me to the limits, trying to traverse this density. But it's letting go. Just allow it to be as it is. It's helping you feel a lot lighter. Images of being lighter than air keep coming to mind. Like you're a balloon, you're really light, you're lifting upward. It's easier than you could ever imagine. It's so simple. We're letting go of what is complex, what is complicated, what is a maze, what is way too much expectations for what you actually are about to receive. And you're just getting lighter and lighter. I feel you lifting up beyond this. You're feeling a lot lighter in your head region. Your entire body is through what is a weird tunnel of density that was bogging you down back there. I feel like you're going above and beyond that original diamond with the light coming from the center. Feels like you want to go further than this. I don't know what this is, some sort of dragon or phoenix image in the stars. I ask you if you want to have this diamond and light energy or if you want to go to the next thing. Still a lot of density here. Feels angry. I don't know what is it I'm talking to, like a pocket watch? It feels angry. Feels like every time, I'm always a pocket watch. Every time I'm still always just a pocket watch. If it could break itself, then it could maybe be parts be used to create something else, so it could be something else. It's like God conscious comes down and tells you you are exactly as you are meant to be. You are yourself. Surprising me how dense this is still. It's very tiring. You're getting through it. I'm gonna take a moment. I'm gonna just step back for a moment so I can reacclimate to myself. And then we'll jump back in and see what it looks like, okay? So I'm just gonna pull back so I can be myself again for a minute, because it's like sweeping me way under the tide here, and it's like I'm almost getting lost in it. So just give me a minute here. All right, let me see what happens next. I hear a voice that says, Abby, you remember that room, the cube room, where the heart had longed to descend in the process of ascending, to go downward in order to go upward. And I say yes, and it says, well, that's what we are accomplishing right now. Getting beneath moving through a floor that we didn't, it's like walking through a wall that we didn't realize was a floor. And we went downward into a dense experience. We release that density, and then we just lift upward. It's sort of like I'm as light as air and made of helium, but I'm going to hold on to this bowling ball. And I'm going to live my life holding on to this bowling ball. And I'm just going to ascend as I hold on to this bowling ball, and that's just the way it's going to be. Well, no, you got to let go of the bowling ball, and now once you do that, you're starting to rise up naturally because you're made out of helium. So it's like, so he's talking, whatever this conscious is, which seems like really cute and little, is matter-of-factly telling you, well, we actually found a wall to walk through, and it happened to be the floor. And then when we go downward into dense spaces, we clear out that density so it's not weighing you down, Julian. And then once we clear out that density, then you just start to rise upward very naturally, very easily. So you're actually out of that cube, you're out of that box, you're beyond it now. Just traversing density, just getting it all cleared out. This also has to do with the old programming about what you are capable of, which is extraordinary things, not things that everybody else is doing that you could do better, but we're talking about unbelievable things that only you would know how, because it's your soul's unique gift. It can only be shared in this way by your soul, and that's what's so special about you. You need to give yourself credit. Density is still here. Still very exhausting. A portal is being created between your heart. So a lot more breathability. I realize that some things in life, it's very hard to do by yourself. But if you could bring in like-minded souls to help you, things get easier way faster. And that's another message to contemplate. But I just said, okay, I could continue to walk through this and share vibrations of love to just break this energy frequency down. Or why don't I just start creating things? Like, I'm using a blue torch, and now I've transformed myself into like 100 people, male, female, different ages, different personality, different styles, and we're all chanting Reiki. Here in this space, and I just allowed it to happen, and then instantly the blue flame and all the different people, and we're all working together to accomplish this, and our frequencies and our heartfelt choices just created a crazy seismic ripple that just went across in all directions, and then it created sort of an opening. I don't know, some sort of opening, and I can feel a lot more breathability in the heart, like a lot more breathability in the heart, and I actually feel more breathability into my lungs, which is creating more oxygenation experiences in the brain, more just, I don't know why, sometimes when we hold our breath, I don't know what we're holding our breath for, but this also can somehow create a reaction here, an energy block here in the throat too. And emotions, everything feels like it's just sort of like, oh, I can stretch, oh, I can breathe, I can stretch, I can breathe. I see you uncurling your body in a very heavy, like weight, like medicine ball style. Like, here's a medicine ball. Who would have thought it's that heavy? It just looks like it's made out of leather or something. But it feels like you're wearing a whole, like, leather jacket that was, like, way heavier than we ever thought. And it just came off, and you're just like, oh, I can float. Oh, I feel kind of dizzy. I feel kind of silly right now. I can float. I'm free. It's kind of like that right now. I feel a little delirious and silly and weird. And awesome. And I hear like a lot of people in the room, male and female voices, clapping and cheering you on. And everybody is so proud of you, and we're here to help each other. We're not here to say, I did it all by myself. No, we are doing extraordinary things all by ourselves, a lot of souls. But it's starting to just say, let's all just do this together. And nobody, it's like we all get credit for doing an awesome job. And that's just, I don't know what it is, but as a community, like, we are proud of every soul that chooses to conquer themselves, and then we help souls to conquer themselves, and now we have one more for the team, you know? And everybody wins. Everybody wins. Gosh, there's like an awful like energy that just busted out of the back of your heart portal, like a weird nasty splatter, and it's like a thick vomit that just went bleh, just spewed across a white space, but it also broke out of your spine, and it broke from like back of your head all the way down to your lower back, and it just barfed out. It almost looked like a weird body. Oh, it feels a lot better. Feels like a lot better. Phew. Oh yeah, I feel great now. I feel like I am okay now. I feel silly in my head now. I feel like I can find my way now. I don't need. I feel like my way is my heart. I feel like I know the way. I don't need to look for it. I need to ask for it. I possess it. I possess the map within my heart, and I just allow my heart to show me the next place to go. I'm free. I'm free. You tell Samurai Master, you say, I don't need you. I got it all right here. Samurai Master doesn't say anything. He just looks at you and he bows. You instantly snap your finger, and I see all the walls like just evaporating and disappearing, all of them, and they seem to go around in a circle into the center of this maze room, which is a light blue color. And they start to turn pink, and it's like they go around in a circle, and all the maze walls on the outside disappear first, and they disappear and disappear and disappear, and now it's empty except what is like some sort of light blue portal. You tell the universe, I am myself, and that's all I ever was, ever am, and ever will be, is myself. And I don't need anybody else's permission to be me. I don't need anybody else's judgment to decide how I need to be myself better. I can just be enough as I am, and now I can just simply be me. Oh my gosh, what a joke. I've been living and trying so hard and doing all these different things, and all I had to do was just let that junk go and just be me. Interestingly enough, there's like you're walking towards the blue center, and you walk into an invisible wall. And you say, wait, what is this? What's this invisible wall doing here? You hear a little voice that says, but you're not ready yet. You need to be patient and wait for the right time. This is actually an illusion. This is a test. Because you decide when you are ready. No little voices in your head decide when you are ready for you. And those little voices are not actually helping you make choices that are heart-centered, are higher self-centered. You choose your own path. Nobody else does. It's only when you believe the voices that now they have power. And it's a little tiny bug, and you seem to you've been working with a frequency of encouragement that sounds kind of like this, like it feels like you're aligning with the idea that it's not quite time yet, but it's actually a manipulation. That's just a little bug, and you look at it and you notice it for the first time as a bug, and you just go flick, and the bug just goes flying. It's like, man, I've been taking your advice for too long. I am ready now. Now we're starting to understand that the real resistance has been being afraid to be yourself all along, because you don't really know what it is to be you fully and entirely yourself. I see you walking down I don't know, there's lots of rows of seats like we're going to a theater, but it starts way up top and goes downward, and then the stage is way down there. And I see you walking down 1,000 stairs to get to the stage. That nobody's in those red velvety seats. It's empty here. You go onto stage and you say, the spotlight is on me. I'm ready for when the world is ready to receive me, but I am ready now. This is the center of your universe. Is you ready to participate in sharing yourself as you are, for entirely exposed for the world to see? And it feels like you. It actually feels right. So peaceful, so patient. So I need to tell you that this energy work, this journey, was actually to bring that which you are ascending towards into yourself, so now you can live in that reality. So in a way, I've manifested your enlightenment experience, and this is going to be the epicenter ripple that is going to give you more and more insight into who you truly are. And so just you watch the next days and weeks, you're going to be saying, oh my gosh, there's another thing that I can let go of. There's another thing that is a reflection of me, and I can let go of that, and I can let go of that. And now you're starting to find yourself underneath all these layers of clothes where you were blocking yourself and you didn't even realize it. And you're going to start feeling more and more free. And it's going to be so easy. And you're going to say, wow, that's all I had to do, huh? Wow, that was easy. It's pretty cool. That's all I can tell you, Julian. So I'm just going to relax here. I'm going to just disconnect from your spiritual atmosphere and come back into mine. Okay. All right, Julian, that was really fun and different. A super beautiful message, and I just thank you so much for your open-mindedness and willing to share. I know there's a lot of people who are going to value this message in their own life, so thank you very much for that. And for those of you watching, if you're interested in having me do a soul rebirth journey for you, it's 60 minutes of energy work and wisdom to transform your life. Please visit me at my website at abbeynormalswisdomquest.com. Sessions can be done privately, or you could share them over YouTube, or we could do it live over Zoom. It's entirely up to you. So I want to thank you all for watching and for supporting the work that I do, and I wish you all a super wonderful day.